It started with a whisper, then a laugh. The boy flinched, tightening his grip on the lunch tray as the laughter grew behind him. He hadn't said a word. He never did. Not since the accident. But it didn't matter to the kids at table 7. They were pointing again, not at what he wore, but at what couldn't be hidden. The scar ran from just under his left ear, curved like a river across his jaw, and disappeared beneath his collar. It was old, faded even, but it still made people look. It still made some kids cruel. One boy leaned in and whispered loud enough for everyone to hear. Bet his dad did that to him. Another one added, nah, looks like he lost a fight with a blender. The cafeteria erupted. He stood frozen in the middle of the room, tray in hand, eyes fixed on the floor. His face stayed still, but his fingers trembled. He didn't cry. Not in front of them. He never did. Near the back of the cafeteria, a man watched quietly. He sat alone, boots planted, back straight. He was older, with a square jaw, eyes like steel, and a stillness about him that felt more dangerous than loudness ever could. Nobody paid attention to the man. They should have, that he wore a faded army green jacket. A patch on the sleeve read Special Forces. But it was the hat that mattered. A deep green beret. The boy moved toward the far corner, his usual seat. The laughter hadn't stopped. In fact, one kid stood up, mocking the way he walked. That's when the man stood too. He didn't say a word. He walked slowly, boots tapping against the tile. Not fast, not angry, just steady, like time itself had decided to join the boy's side. When he reached the table where the boys were still snickering, he stopped, and then, without a word, he removed his beret. He laid it gently on the boy's tray. The room went silent. The bullies looked confused, then uncomfortable, because suddenly the scar didn't look like weakness. It looked like something else, something ancient, something earned. The boy looked down at the green beret, then up at the man. There were no words. None were needed. But his heart was racing, not from fear, but from something else. Pride, maybe, or the warmth that comes when a stranger sees you completely and still chooses to stand beside you. That green beret? It meant one thing. This boy was not alone. The man turned to the room, slowly scanning the faces. Not a glare, not a threat, just truth. Then he spoke, his voice calm but deep, like it came from somewhere far beneath the surface. Scars are proof that you survived what tried to kill you. And I don't stand with the ones who point. I stand with the ones who rise. He turned and walked out of the room, leaving behind only the silence and the beret. The boy stood taller now that he didn't sit in the corner that day. That he walked to the center of the cafeteria. Alone, but not really, because in that moment, he carried the weight of every quiet hero who ever endured more than the world could see. Every veteran, every survivor, every soul who fought silent battles. The laughter never returned after that. Weeks later, a mural was painted in the hallway. It showed a boy with a scar, standing tall, green beret in hand. Underneath, it read, "Silence is not weakness. It's strength waiting to be seen." And people began to see. Some wounds are worn on the skin. Others live in the heart. But both deserve the same respect. If this story moved you, take a moment. Comment where you're watching from. Share this story with someone who needs to hear it. And subscribe for more powerful, true, and inspired tales of unseen strength. Because sometimes the quietest people carry the loudest courage.